Hey, welcome to another edition of the Seat Shop installation video series. Today we're going to be showing you how to install the brackets and cut the carpet from any Yukon or Tahoe from 2000 to 2011.
Now I'm going to walk you through some of the tools you'll need to do the install. First, I got a breaker bar. Sometimes when you're putting the bolts in, it's a little tough. You need some extra length on there so you can get it torqued down real good. We've got a scraper here. You can use a flathead screwdriver will work, or some kind of a flat edge. So you'll see where this comes in handy here in a little bit. You also need a Torx bit. This is a T number 50 is the size. We got a pair of carpet shears. It really helps do some of the trim work. You can also use a pair of regular scissors, or get you some box cutters. Make sure you get a bunch of razor blades, because you'll go through them pretty quick. And then next we got all of our brackets and bolts. And we got a air gun here with the to run the bolts in here. You can use a regular socket wrench if you want. You're running a 3/4 inch socket's what you're going to need for that. Now the first step to do this, you're going to remove these two cargo tie downs, a little triangle piece here. That's what you're going to need your Torx bit for. So T50 is your size. Go ahead and back these out here. Here, Hunter, grab the one on the side here. All right, now that we got those out of there, we're going to pop this rear panel off. It doesn't screw down or anything. It just pops off. So you can get your fingers down under, start popping it up. Yep. Pull the side. There you see all the clips right there. All right, next we're going to roll the carpet back. Just pull it straight up in the middle and start untucking it from the side panels. And go to the front and pull.
Yep. Okay. All right.
It's always good to have the second row folded down. It gives you a little more room to work, because you get the front row brackets are gonna bolt right up here. So with those laid down, it gives you the extra room to work. Now, what you're gonna look for in the floorboard, and there's two different style seats, two different style Tahoes and Yukons. Some of them have the barn doors, some of them have the big hatch. If you have the barn door set up, sometimes you won't have these pockets built into the floorboard. See, there's a pocket for each bracket. And to the left and right of each pocket, you'll see a little 1-inch square piece of putty. That's where the bolt hole is. They seal that in so water and stuff doesn't splash up through. So if you're ever questioning if your vehicle can be able to install the third row seat, roll your carpet back just like we've done here and look for these pockets. There'll be 4 pockets across the back, and there's going to be 3 pockets across the front. If you got the pockets, you're good to go. All right, now we're going to bring in that big scraper bar here. We got to go ahead and pull the plugs out of each hole here so we can get the bolts in.
All right, now that we get all those 1-inch square putty tabs out of the floorboard, we're going to go ahead and set the brackets. And there's going to be 7 different brackets. You're going to have 4 flat bars like this, and 3 of the double bar brackets that look like that. You're going to have 2 smaller ones and then a longer one. This longer one goes in the middle, and these 2 other ones go on the outside toward the front of the vehicle. And when you're putting these in, the bolt holes need to be toward the front of the vehicle so the actual bracket is facing back at you. Just like this, and then the 2 outer ones on the side. And then the 4 flat bars are going to be toward the back of the vehicle across there.
Now every hole is threaded for the bolt. You don't need a nut on the bottom side of it. Just drive it straight down in and torque it real tight, and you're going to be good to go. We'll go ahead and get them hand tight. We'll kind of just screw them in a little bit to get them started. Then we'll come back over that impact gun, or you can come back with your socket wrench and tighten them in. But sometimes they're pretty tough. You'll get them a couple turns in, and they'll be pretty hard to turn. That's when it's nice to have that breaker bar around. You can really get some weight on it that way. We're going to go ahead and start rolling the carpet back now, the foam pad underneath. So we got to go ahead and make the cuts in this pad first, and then after that we're going to go ahead and trim out the actual carpet at the very end. So we're going to lay this back in. You'll tuck it up under the corners here. Make sure it's lay all flat. And you can feel through where the brackets are. And we're going to make this, we're going to start with a cut with the razor blade, get a slit going, and then we're going to come back with the carpet shears. Now we just picked these up at Lowe's, so I mean they look real high tech. They're 10, 15 bucks at Lowe's or Home Depot. When we're cutting this hole, you want to do a big hole around it. You want to cut all. You don't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to get a big hole around it. Now when we get to the actual carpet, that's when we're going to get a real detailed precision cut. But I'm going to go ahead and I can feel the bracket here. I'm going to start to the right of it. I'm just going to cut a slice here. And then we're going to come in with the carpet shears. The main reason we got to cut this foam pad out is you got to have an inch of clearance underneath that bracket in that pocket. So with this, how thick this material is, it fills up that pocket that's in the floorboard. And that pocket's design has to have that much clearance underneath it for the seat, so the seat can do all its movements, how it can flip forward and all that jazz. You got to have the room underneath it for it to work properly. So we'll cut these chunks out.
And this is the biggest pain about the whole install, is cutting this. Your hands are going to really hurt. There's really no great way to cut this insulation. And just cut a big chunk out like that. It doesn't matter if you cut excess, the carpet's going to cover it. Just enough to get around all the bolts and brackets, as well as that whole trough that sits down in there. Yeah, yep. Down in there. We're going to go ahead and finish up cutting these 7 right here. We're just going to do it for each individual bracket, and then we'll show you exactly how we cut the carpet. All right, now that we got all the insulation cut out here on all the 7 brackets, it's time to roll this carpet back down and get it into position. Feed you there. You just have to kind of work it back underneath all this plastic trim panels.
Yeah. There's that peg underneath there, I think.
Yeah, you go ahead and pull this out. There you go.
Alright, once that's laid down, we're going to put the plastic piece on the back here and go ahead and tighten the cargo ties back down. Let's see here, it torques a bit.
See there?
There's the 2 tie downs.
All right, there we go.
All right, now. Another side note that has nothing to do with third row seats. If you have a Suburban, Tahoe, or Yukon, you're driving around the road and you always hear a whistle or some air in the back, that means that this rubber thing has come off and it's loose. So this one's in there tight. I'm not going to pull it off. But if you open your rear hatch and you see this dangling down, that's the whistle of the wind you've been hearing. Again, nothing to do with third seats, but it's handy to know.
Okay, go ahead and grab that razor blade. All right, now that you have that insulation cut, you can just right over the carpet. The carpet's pretty thin. Let me get the glove off. But you'll be able to feel where that bracket is. And is what we do when we're cutting the carpet is cut an H. So I can feel the width of the bracket here, that single bar back here. I'll feel on the end of that. And what I'll do is I'll take a razor blade and cut right over top of that bracket this way. And then I'm going to cut an H right along that trough inside. So that way you'll be able to tuck those 2 flaps right underneath the bracket. I'll show you how I do it here.
His fingers are right where the bolts are.
So they're right where the bolts are, so I feel the width of the bracket here. So I'm just going to go like this. Come straight over top on that bracket. Make sure it cut that. There's rubber on the bottom of the carpet, so make sure it's cutting all the way through that. And then again, I have my width. So I'll just start. And you can even look it up, look in there. So I see you right,
that blade
right where it's starting.
There's another one. If that blade's dull, you can change it.
There we go. Right there's one, so that'll go under. And all these fuzzy stuff you can just sweep off, yeah, later. Dig back here. Right through there. You can use scissors too. I found that a really sharp razor will work the best. But basically that's it now. So you're exposing all the brackets, everything that you need to expose to lock the seat in. That'll work right there.
You can see why it's so crucial to get the insulation out from the bottom. Otherwise, it wouldn't. This carpet wouldn't have pushed down. You wouldn't have had the clearance under that bracket for the seat to clamp onto. And we're going to keep trimming these out. We'll go ahead and do this for them. We'll show you how we cut the holes for the one that's got the double bars in the front.
Yep. All right, we got all four of the back ones cut again, just like the two flaps and H. Just push it under the bracket. Now I'm going to show you how to cut this the front ones here with the double bars. Again, you can feel through the carpet exactly the width and where those double bars are. And on this one, you're going to start right in the middle between the bars. So you're just splitting them. We'll get like that. And this center one's the widest one. So you'll be able to cut like that. And I'll just look in here and see how wide that stamped out piece in the floorboard is. Then that's where I'll start my H. Just basically tracing that stamped out piece in the floorboard.
You want to make sure you stay on the inside of the bolt,
yep,
so that you don't see the bolt sticking through when you pull the flap down in there.
So there's the back one. Stay along that same line. Right there. There we go. Just tuck that underneath the bracket. So then you have those. And this center one's the widest one because you'll have one clamp from one side of the seat and another clamp from the other seat. That'll go in the middle. And then I'm going to finish up here just cutting these two double bars on the either side the same way, just right down the middle, and then your H along the stamped out trough. All right, this is the final shot of after we cut all the carpets around the brackets. And now we're going to show you how to snap a third row seat in from the 2000 through 2006 Tahoe or Yukon.
All right, what we're going to do is the roll forward, the front clips, it's going to hook in two places, there and there. So the bottom one's going to hook on the rear bar, the front one's going to rock forward and click on that one. So you can kind of tilt it up and lean it forward and it'll latch. This thing won't be able to come down. Now, once it's forward and latched, you're going to pull this number 3 lever here. It's got the down arrow. Pull that. So now that it's freely swinging, and you really want to slam it hard into the floorboard so it makes a good connection. Really good and hard. Sometimes, if it doesn't work, it's because that's not completely connected. It may look like it is. If it doesn't work, go ahead and pull this number 2 up again and really slam it hard. Now, if you lift up on the number 1 lever, then the seat will unfold. The main way to tell if it's not locked all the way on the floor is when you pull the number 1 lever up and the seat's still locked. It's because the number 2 isn't locked completely on the floor. So lift it back up, slam it real hard, pull the number 1 while opening the seat at the same time. Sometimes during shipping, this little knob here will get bent. The metal is really pliable. If it's bent to one side or the other, you can usually just bend it with your hands. You don't need pliers or anything. But a lot of times this thing will get, and when you're taking it out in and out of the garage and stuff, if it hits up against something, it can bend really simple. I don't want to bend this one, but you can bend it right back into place real well. It's not don't freak out if that thing ever gets bent. Now I'm going to show you how to take this out. Once it's in the truck, I'm going to tell you how to fold it down and actually remove it. So you can lift up on the number 1 lever. This is going to fold down flat. You can lift up on the number 2 all the way until it locks. Then you're going to grab this last bar right here. Go ahead and take your left hand, hold the handle, pull this bar and rock it back. Just pulling that handle releases the front 2 clasps and then it rolls right back. Take it out of the truck and go and lock this back in place. go. Hunter's gonna throw the other side in.
This concludes the install video for the brackets from 2000 through 2011. Of course, in 2007, Chevy did change the third row seats up a little differently, but the bracket install is going to be the same.
If you got any questions at all, feel free to give us a shout at 214-710-2565 or check us out on the website www.theseatshop.com.